G'day folks. Well, I've been down the scrapyard again and look what I found. I know it's rough, very rough, but I couldn't bring myself to leave it there, especially not a Marantz. It's upside down basically as I put it in the back of the car, and it's seen better days. There's a lot of water damage, but just for the hell of it I thought I'd have a look. Same with this JVC stereo amplifier. It's small, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, the only time I'd ever consider painting an amp would be this one. I'd rub it back and give it an overspray of silver. The front panel will just clean up as it is, but the top covers had it. Yeah, bit of a mess. That's the Technics graphic equalizer. I haven't done a video on that, so I figured I'll have a look at the whole lot while they're all here. Give things a bit of a clean up. It's worth a try. Some vintage audio gear. It's a real shame when people let it get this bad or throw it out like that. The switches all work. Again, they're already in the big bin, so I had to basically grab them with like a small shepherd's crook and drag them out by the power leads. It's a JVC A-S3, and that's a Marantz model 2050. That's just a tuner, that's not an amplifier or anything, that's just an AM/FM tuner that needs a lot of love and care, assuming it's even still good. Alright, let's start with this Technics equalizer. This is the easiest of the lot. It's just had a lot of dirt and stuff shaken through it, because it was sitting upside down in the scrap pile, buried in a pile of just crushed debris. Whatever the claw couldn't pick up, like bits of plastic and glass and TV tube and other stuff. It was basically upside down in all that stuff, and miraculously survived. So let's empty some more of the dirt and sand out of it. I'll have to dismantle it. But give it a good clean up and just power it on, leave it on test for a while, and then we'll look at these two down here, which are very sad looking. Okay, I've cleaned out most of the debris, quite a bit of it. Good blowout with air and the thing's spotless again, so that's a good sign. Not much to see in them, they're all digital of course. The biggest IC in there's a LC7522. I imagine there'll be display drivers under the display. You can see the big chip in there. So there's two displays and all the other jazz. Definitely needs a good clean up though. I've got a brush that I can clean a lot of that scale and crap out, just so it looks decent enough to use in the workshop. It'll never be top end again, but it's better than nothing. Good for good workshop audio. Same with this stuff. It'll never be like living room worthy or show worthy, but if it works again, it's good for a workshop or garage or hangout room, something like that. I might give the tuner to my supervisor. He can use it in his outdoor entertaining area with the Luxman L235 that I've sold him. You can see a little bit of board discoloration under some of the components, but not much. Particularly that little one there, that bigger one, probably voltage regulation. Anyway, I'll give everything a good wipe down, get rid of all this mess, and we'll power it up. Okay, well, it's all nice and clean now. Main reason was to make sure nothing had shorted out. It has been subjected to a bit of moisture. There's rust probably coming through from push buttons on the front, so I wouldn't expect them all to work, but it can be fixable. Anyway, let's see what happens. Power. Unlimited power. Ew, that looks promising. Obviously with no input it's not going to do anything, but I'll at least just leave it powered up for a while, make sure it doesn't blink out before I connect it to any of my audio sources. But that looks good. That's kind of cool. It's just memo mode. Oh yeah. Docked peak hold. Oh, okay, so it actually does display what it's doing. That's cool. EQ record on off. That doesn't work. There we go. Switch was just sticky. Very cool. Give it a sauce later and see what it does. Okay, now this is the Marantz tuner. As you can see, it's seen better days. Real shame. Worth a try to clean it up. It is rough. Lots of scrapes and scratches, all from being thrown in the bin, unfortunately. They're new scratches. But it'll come good as a garage unit. You got to give the old Marantz some credit. They made some really good stuff, and they look good too. Let's get this cleaned up. I'll take the cover off, brush everything off the front very carefully, take this off and wash it essentially under the garden hose, and then just carefully wipe down the back panel. What does that say? Do not use this handle. That's exactly right, that's an antenna, not a carry handle. Well, under the cover everything looks pretty good. Even the front panel has minimal corrosion pitting under the anodizing. Not much I can do about that. But given the amount of weathering it's been through, all the boards are so well suspended and protected, there's no obvious damage. I haven't taken the bottom off yet, but even the plywood bottom hasn't rotted out. That corner there is probably the worst, but still it's not bad. Componentry wise looks good, standard 70s-ish, early 80s Marantz. Yeah, a bit of old Gorilla Snot at the base of that transistor, that's about it. We scrape that off so it doesn't cause any short circuits. Switches all look good. Power. Back panel's probably the worst. There's some corrosion and green on the antenna. It's AM stuff, so it's not really even that applicable, but the antenna pins are actually a bit corroded. That's about it. The cord's still intact. It all still works nicely. It's a flywheel tuner too. It's got a big lump of alley on the other side. Very nice. This thing will clean up really nicely. Be a nice little entertaining area amp. See, I can wipe this down with something like a silicon-based thing. I used this on the equalizer, and it came up pretty good. But it is pitted, so that's permanent. Certainly far from being unrestorable. I bet you it'll power up quite well too. I just got to put a plug on that lead, or I might even just replace it. I think I'll just tap into this terminal block for the beginning, and I'll put a new lead on it. This one's all chewed up and damaged. Okay, well, it's cleaned up alright. I haven't given it a bit of a wipe down with spray yet, but I've just knocked all the sharp edges off the fascia. A little bit of wet and dry, 500 grit wet and dry knocks off the top of the oxide bumps. Still got a bit of work to do on there, but it'll clean up enough that you'd hardly notice it. Soldering wise, the boards look really good too. Really, really good. Switches all work fine. Spray a bit of contact cleaner through them, that's about it. Soldering looks perfectly fine. There's really nothing needs attention on it apart from that AM antenna clamp. Well, basically all of them, they're all seized. So I'll see what I can do with that, but otherwise it seems to be good. Just need a new power lead and it should work. I'll do a test run before I get too carried away. I'm not going to replace that if it's dead, but I'll give it power, connect it up to the EQ and see if it picks up any output from it. I need a little amplifier. Actually, I do have a little amplifier. I've got a little realistic, tiny little box one. That'll be handy for testing. Well, it works. It works really well, actually. And I'm running it through a tiny little 3.5 watt Tandy Radio Shack amp. It's so cute. Look at the size of the thing. A little bit of warmth coming off it. I'm driving tiny little plasma TV speakers. Stereo works fine. AM and FM both work. And it tunes quite well too.
Hockey has been among the government's best public performers. कि वो 67 मिनट दूसरों की सेवा में लगा। श्री मंडेला ने 67 साल तक दक्षिण अफ्रीका में समानता के लिए संघर्ष किया, यानी ये था 1 मिनट हर
I have no idea what language that is.
उनकी तीसरी पत्नी ग्रेसा
Almost sounds Russian.
Tlieta, disa xejn, xejn, 888. Untukom stima bl-ħlas. Tinsewx ċemplu fuq 9-3-9 xejn 888.
Glasses. All health funds are accepted. Call 13 20 20 to book an appointment or visit enormous growth in that, Bozza.
Yeah, massive. So when I left in 1988, let's be honest, it was part-time here, and
There we are. Leave it on my favourite radio station. Triple M. Alright, well, that works. I'm going to finish cleaning up, put it back together again, and let's look at the most degraded of the lot, the amplifier. The amp was sitting on top of it all. Well, the two. The graphic equalizer was separate, but now that that's now that I've got a signal, I can actually run it through the equalizer to the amplifier and see if that works. So let's do that first. There we go. It all works. There's no lights left in the back. They look like fuses. I've got to buy a bag of those things because I think I've got 2 or 3 receivers that use them now. But everything's working. Equalizer works fine. You can control frequency.
in running writing as well. It's very rare that I use running writing. Normally I use capital.
How is that relevant? What the print is?
Or because I very rarely use
I've gone through and they all work.
So it's more special.
Got bar,
More special in your books if it's
dot readout, peak hold.
Hey guys, before our time together is over, we have to get some person to study this.
Reverse stereo.
Capital letters.
What do they call that person?
No, it's
On off.
his name from Pat Cohen. What's the name? You might be doing a study on the Bozo next year.
Alright, so look, I think it's
Yeah, very good.
So what are your thoughts?
I'm sure it, no, I'm not a cash man. I think I'm actually not even turn up for Christmas if I go cash.
Okay, alright. Well, I'm going to put it down. I'm going to surprise you this year. I'm half the cash and get the rest of the present.
Oh, no, people too.
Anyway, it all works. Brilliant. Alright, let's do a separate video on the amplifier because that's going to take a whole lot more work. And yeah, thanks for watching.